My name is Kevin Lee, and the piece I will be covering today is A Bronzeville Mother Loiters in Mississippi. Meanwhile, a Mississippi Mother Burns Bacon by Gwendolyn Brooks. This poem is part of her series The Bean Eaters, and it's about the events of Emmett Till. Now, the title is very interesting in the fact that the mother is an allusion. The Bronzeville mother is an allusion to Emmett's mom. Meanwhile, the Mississippi mother is an allusion to Carolyn Bryant, and it compares and contrasts both of them in just the title. Now, I will be analyzing this poem in three ways: archetypes, shifts, and imagery. In the archetypes, Gwendolyn Brooks utilizes archetypes such as the milk-white maid, the dark villain, the fine prince, and the happiness ever after from your average stories to introduces the character in the second stanza. It's also not your usual way you would put this in. It's very unusual, but an understandable point of view with Carolyn Bryant, the speaker. And then later she uses the archetype dark villain as to show guilt almost, that maybe this time the dark villain didn't quite fit the mold perhaps and of the archetypes and it should have been older. Now I believe Gwendolyn Brooks uses the archetypes as a way to express the speaker's justifications for the events that occurred on Emmett Till, and the speaker, of course, being Carolyn Bryant, justifying that maybe that her husband was right in killing Emmett Till, and expressing the that he was the dark villain while she was the milk-white maid and her husband was the fine prince. Now, there's some shifts in this poem. The shifts from the second stanza to the third, and the third stanza to the fourth. The first and second stanzas are thoughts of Carolyn Bryant, the speaker, and this is her in her head contemplating how the events fit into the archetypes, and then being brought back roughly to reality by the smell of her bacon burning, which she hid in the step-on can, allusion to the trash can. And then there's the shift from the third stanza to the fourth, which is from reality right again back to thought, this time with a twist of guilt. Now, this is important because she uses the shifts to introduce not only the characters of the event and what the main point of the poem was about, but it also sets up for the dinner that they were going to have later on. And then it also shows the how much Carolyn Bryant cares about the event in this poem, and also the stress that she's distracted by Emmett's death, leading to her bacon being burned. And it really shows that she attempts to maintain composure in her reality, meanwhile continuously distracted by her thoughts on the event and the application of the events into the archetypes. Now, there's some color imagery in this poem, which is not very unusual for Gwendolyn Brooks. because her topics are usually about racial equality, civil rights, and various events similar to that. So um, it's not unusual to see color imagery uh, concerning race in her poems. And these color imagery are the milk white maid, once again referring to the skin color of the maid, which was white because it was Carolyn Bryant. And the dark villain um, is interesting in the fact that it's not only was it about the bad guy being the dark villain, it was also an allusion to the skin color of Emmett Till, an African American. Also, the imagery later continues with the menace and the bones of many eaten knights and princesses. This is important as it um, Carolyn Bryant almost uses this to compare and contrast the dark villain of the event and the dark villain in her archetypes that she was taught back in the schools. Um, the This helps makes the poem more interesting and keeps the reader hooked on the large contrasting differences between the both of the Emmett Till and the archetypes, and it makes it easier to understand and accept. Now, all of these contribute to the understanding of the poem um, and how um, Gwendolyn Brooks believed that Carolyn Bryant, the speaker, thought about this whole event, and it just adds to another perspective of a horrible tragedy in the civil rights movement. That is it. Thank you.